Hey, welcome back, viewers. Here is the update video on the 1966 Mustang convertible. Getting a new wiring harness in it. I'm in the process of finishing that up now. Uh, New headlight switch, key switch, whole new wiring harness. Most of those wires right there you see go to the key switch and the dash cluster, gauge cluster. Um, Yep. It's going to be a fairly short video. Don't really. Anyway, so got the new aluminum radiator mocked up, kind of, sort of. You can see right here where somebody has cut out, not the owner that has it now, but the previous owner, I guess, cut all this out because they used to have a big block in his car. And I'm pretty sure that's why if you look over there at that shock tower, this shock tower, they've been butchered and reinforced with angle iron. I think they had a big block in here at one time. But anyway, the radiator, I'm getting ready to cut some metal to either weld in there to make it right, or maybe bend some aluminum to come from here out and bend, 90-degree bend to catch the mounting flange. Well, actually, I'm sorry, right here. I'm looking at it through the camera. It looks a little different. And of course, this is the electric fan wire. I will be putting a fan control on this one, as well as a toggle switch override. Harness over there for the headlights and parking lights in the front, as well as the horn, fan, and then you got your power to your distributor and your tax signal. The solenoid was pretty much mounted right there, so I just put it back there. And got the battery cable, of course, going to the rear of the vehicle, along with the fuse box power. And the starter wire running from the key switch. Sorry, guys, I'm a little sluggish here. Sorry. Let me see, what else have I done to this car? Well, as you can see, I've got the new shock mounts on. New shocks are installed. The owner's, he bought this car. He didn't really know a whole lot about it, but since I've been underneath of it to do a lot of work, installing the shocks, what have you, he has come to find out that, or I found out that the cars had new control arms put onto it, or on it. Sway bar in link bushings, it's had some work done to it. All right, here will be, this is the aluminum diamond plate gauge cluster. Can't really get all the gauges in there for you, but they're all installed, wired. I just got to, all the wire leads are run. Just got to connect them to the wires coming out of the dash from the harness, fuse box, what have you. And yeah, that'll be that. I mean, there's not really much else to tell. You think that looks like a mess? You should have seen it when I started. Or maybe you did if you watched one of the earlier videos. I'll get this piece of tape off of there. 4-speed car. What a parking brake between the seats. All right, guys. Well, that's pretty much going to do it for this video. It's kind of hard to do any live action work for you. I'm the only one here. And tripod, I just have to constantly move the camera around. So it's kind of hard for me to keep up with it. So this is kind of like my videos are kind of before and after type videos. I do a little bit or do some work and then I film it and then explain to you what it did. But the harness was pretty straightforward. The only thing I did do differently on the front lights. So you got the headlight there and then the parking light down there on both sides. The original harness had both of the grounds for both lights put together and then come up through and attached to the radiator support. At least on this car, that's where it was grounded. Now the wires are grounded separately now. The lights are grounded separately on both sides in the front and as well in the back. It's going to get a couple of grounds back there. So there you go. Plugged a bunch of holes in the firewall that were just over the years. This car's had holes drilled in it in the firewall. You know, as I think I ended up. I don't know how many of them I welded, but I know I plugged 9 holes in it, I think. And this is going to be a summer car. When the guy got it, that owns it now, it was having all kinds of problems with the heater. I think even the heater core was bad, so he removed it because he just drives it in the summer. You know, he's this is just a cruise around, a little hot rod toy for him. He's not driving it to work every day. He's retired, so he doesn't need a he don't depend on this car. So, and he blocked off the blower fan hole here, and then I went back and plugged off the heater core lines, seam sealed around them, and then everything else seam sealed over top, and to plug up all the holes, and then repainted everything. So it's a little dusty right now, but it's coming along. And right here, let me take the bag off of it. Here is the 289 that was in the car. Now, I don't know if I filmed it in my earlier videos, but there's a 289 at 302 heads on it. Big spark plugs. Ford guys know what I'm talking about. And cast iron heads, yeah. And so we're using the same carburetor. I did a rebuild on the carburetor. We're using the Y-end intake, single plane intake, and just changed over to AFR aluminum heads. Don't quote me on this. I think they call this line of heads the Enforcer heads, I think's the name. I'm not 100% sure. But electric water pump, that's what he wanted. Swapped it over to an HEI distributor. So putting new headers on it. Already had the engine in the car. Obviously, I jacked it up in order to put the headers on because that's what you have to do on these Mustangs, to put the headers on. So I've had these new headers on the car, measured for clearance and everything. They fit a lot better than the old headers did, which were just some headers that they weren't even for a Mustang. I don't know what they were for, but so there you go. Well, just changed the cam and lifters in it. It had a old school, I think it was a Blazer cam from Crane. I think it was Blazer from the late 80s. It had, it's just a hydraulic flat tappet cam's all it was. And it had a little 460 something lift to it on a really wide lobe separation. So anyway, it sounded pretty good, but I swapped it over to a comp cam, and no, I did not use comp's lifters. So I put a better brand of lifter in there. I'm hoping for. Yeah, I see the Fram filter, and until this day, people are still throwing these away. But they've changed what was the problem in those filters years ago, but they just got a bad name, and unfortunately, people are, shy to use them. I use them. I don't have any problem with them. Granted, I use them on a street engine, that's not seeing a lot of high RPMs and an excessive amount of oil pressure. I'm still a little gun shy of their filters too, but I do know that they've improved them. Of course, this is just a regular tough guard or extra guard filter. So I guess that's their regular filter. You know, but yeah, when they redesigned these extra guard filters, I got a brand new one years ago, cut it open, compared it to an earlier model, earlier style filter that had collapsed on an engine that came into my shop. And uh, yeah, the new style's a lot better. Okay, well, I'm going to end this video here, guys. I meant to tell you this before I started the video, or at least halfway through it, but I didn't know it was going to be a 10-minute, going on 11-minute video now. So hopefully most of y'all are still tuned in. But I'm going to end it here because now I'm just rambling at this point. Oh, and we're getting rid of the external voltage regulator charging system and going with a one wire. It's sitting over there on the bench right now. So I'll be bringing my engine test stand down here. Run stand, whatever you want to call it, down here in the near future. To put this engine on because it does have aluminum heads on it. And I'll have to retorque them after the initial heat cycle. So I don't want to have to do that in the car. I'd rather, these headers do not, when the engine's in the car, these headers do not unbolt and get out of the way far enough for you to retorque the lower head bolts, though you can see them. And it looks like you can get to them, but you can't. And if you can't get to one, you can't get to any of them. That's the way you got to look at it. You can't get a socket on that. So that's why I built my run stand for situations like this. Now, I did not rebuild the 289 part of this engine. The owner did not want to go through that because it runs so good when it came here. But he just wanted to change his heads. He never had a set of aluminum heads before, so I got him set up with basically these heads are AFRs, like I want to say entry level aluminum heads that flow really good numbers. So he's got room to grow even with this cam. It's a comp cam, 519, 523 lift cam on a 110 separation. So it ought to be right radical for him. Made him a new return bracket for the carburetor spring. And so once I get it on the run stand, I'll more than likely do another video of that. That's going to be in the future. Right now, I don't have any plans to do that at anytime this week or next week, but we'll see how it goes. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. And if you haven't done so, I have come to realize that just over 1% of you are subscribed to the channel. The rest of you that watch my videos are not. So it doesn't cost you anything. So click the subscribe button. You never know. You might check out my other videos in my playlists, and maybe you want to keep up with the Mustang build here project. Got other videos, different variety of videos in my playlist. So subscribe to the channel and you'll get access to those, and click that little bell icon. And when it opens up, if you want notifications of my upcoming videos in the near future, click on that all button after you push the bell icon. So subscribe, hit the bell. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the comments down below the video here. I try to reply to them. I am busy, so sometimes it takes me a while to get back to you. But I'll try to answer questions or read the Google Mechanics negative comments and feedback when I get those from time to time. Those always crack me up. So anyway, all right, guys, thanks for watching. This video is long enough. Don't mean to bore you, but hopefully you stay till the end because it does help my channel's algorithm, which helps out a lot. It helps my videos get seen elsewhere on the YouTube. So thank you for watching once again, and until the next time, we will talk to you later.